Hello, I'm Chris. This is Gross Models, and this is issue 12 of Building the Back to the Future Delorean from Eagle Moss and Hero Collector. They seem to be the same people, but I don't know. Anyway, right, this issue, we're building some more suspension. We've got parts for the rear left wheel hub and suspension. So let's get on and do that. This is going to be building a little bit on its own and then building onto the framework, which I shall bring back in when I've got this bit ready. Let's have a look. Lots of bits. I don't understand any of them. That bit I know is the magnetic hinge piece, and that's the brake caliper thing. I remember that from last time. That's obviously part of the suspension. So we've got a big bit here, which is the radius arm, apparently, and we're attaching this to it. There we go. CM screws. Let's get 2 of those out, leaving 1, which is going to be a spare, no doubt, or losses, or next time, or something. So these are going through here. Oh, big screws. Right, let's get this the correct way around. It's that way around and that way around. And they are going through there. Obviously, the rear wheel assembly is very different to the front wheel assembly because they don't need to turn, because you know rear wheels don't get used for steering very much. So yeah, let's get both of those in and then tighten them down. Then we get another part and get that ready, and then we continue on. I'm actually going to do this all in order of the pictures because it makes it so much easier trying to edit it and put the picture in the right places. So that goes on there like that. Next up, we've got that and an EM screw, of which there are a few. So I'm guessing we're going to be using more of those in a moment. So I'll keep that one there. Right, how is this going in there? That's got the bit across the top. That's got that bit goes through there. And the screw goes into that. Again, my mental picture of cars and how they go together did not contain any of these parts at all. It's something to do with the suspension by the looks of the little picture that comes just after this, but I really have no idea. Try and get that in the right place. Holding it and screwing it in without putting pressure in the wrong direction is somewhat more tricky than I expected it to be. That seems about right. So let's get that. Is that being held at any particular angle? It's difficult to tell sometimes from the pictures the angles that things are at. So let's tighten that down. I can still move it if need be. Right, I'm going to have to bring the framework in, so I shall see you in just a moment. Okay, I've got a BM screw ready to hold this in place on here. So there's a peg and a hole, so we get the peg through there and then line up the hole so the screw can go in there. I think that this part that I've tightened down on there needs a little bit of movement. This bit obviously doesn't because it's got the peg holding it in place there, but that's going to have to move a bit, as it does that part that's already been down there. That seems to be where things are going to be fitted. Next up, this is fitting from down there. Oh, that lines up with that. I like that. I like it. I understand how it's going together, but not why yet. EM. I knew we'd need more of these. There's another EM screw. They're like a screw with a built-in washer, which is very convenient because, you know, the fewer parts I have to worry about, the easier it is. So that is going to go on there. Just like that. Get that on. Then I shall need an HM screw, which will hold the top bit on that bit. So this has got some movement as well. HM, there we go. These are the long ones again, isn't it? Another one of those out. There we go. So this is going through from the rear, through that and through that. So we've got some suspension action going on. Lined up. Obviously it depends on the height that it's at as to how it's going to fit together. Let's turn everything around a bit. I have noticed that the wheels the magnets don't seem to be quite strong enough to hold them in place all of the time. Obviously once it's sitting there, it's not going to be a problem. So I think it's going to be fine, but it's just an interesting and intriguing and annoying sort of factor to it. Okay, so that's got to go through there. Right, looking ahead, looks like we don't need this for a minute. I've got to put all this aside and build some other things. Got to do the brake disc and stuff. Get that tightened through there. Like that. So we've got some movement to that, which makes sense. Next up is, as I said, getting that and the brake disc held in place with an AP screw. AP because of the plastic. Come one screw out, leave the label in the bag. I'm not sure about the labelling of these bags. This seems to be the older way of doing it. Sticky labels on the outside do seem to be much better. So we've got a couple of little pegs to hold that in place that way round there, and the screw just goes through the middle one. Okay, I need an IM screw. That's an even longer screw than used previously. Got to go through, I think, holding this and all of that together into the bottom part of that. Oh no, it just goes through here. Right, IM screw just through there. The shock assembly. Okay, so that's through there. Right, now don't do anything about that. Okay. Brake disc assembly, yes, goes over the rear part there. Then insert the IM screws. Oh, right, okay, so this, yeah, right. That fits into the middle of those two, and that fits into the middle of it. Eventually, somehow, somewhere, that's going to go, isn't going to go in the middle of there, is that? Definitely pictures going into the middle of that, and it definitely doesn't quite fit. Just have a check. Yeah, it's not far off, but it's far enough off that it's not going to fit. So what we actually need to do, this is going to go through all of that. Like that. With this in the middle there and that on there. But I'm going to have to file that down a touch just to get that on there. It looks like the inside of this might not be quite moulded properly. Or it might just be the thickness of paint. So I'm going to do a little bit of filing and get that through there. I'll get the screw through, and then that will be magnetised up the top there like that. With this just, it goes up through there. No, it doesn't. It will do, I'm sure it will, but not quite yet. Yeah, is that going to be too low to go through there? I don't know. I'm going to have a look ahead. It does say to insert it through there, but with the spring in there. So, right. Let's get it fitted first and then worry about how it's going to line up in a moment. Right, with a bit of filing, that's gone in there. It's very stiff. I might need to take it apart and do a little bit more filing, but once it's folded up, it's okay. Once it's folded down, it's okay. So I'm moderately happy, but I think it'll loosen up in playing around with it. What we now need to do is get the spring onto there, which in itself is not tricky in the slightest. But then we need to get that under there. So the spring will go under there quite easily. That goes, that's not too bad at all. And then we have another EM screw, which will go down into the top of that. And that's going to hold the suspension piece together. Eventually, tightening it down a bit more. There we go, that's that in there. So that is now going to be working as suspension a little bit. That will fold down. And when we get another wheel, we'll be able to attach that onto there. Before we go, the 3 last remaining pieces and a BM screw. Got the 2 left in there. There's normally only 1 spare. So we'll get 1 more BM screw out of there. This is something to do with the front left track rod. I've got no idea. But that's going in there like that. Screw will hold all that in place. Now this is a part that I'm not going to be able to install as yet because of missing the whole front steering assembly at the moment. Hopefully it will turn up before I need to install this bit, or the video build is going to get very bitty as to exactly how much I can do whenever and which episode I can film first and next and do that. So that's going to go on there. I'll tighten that down just a touch more to make sure that's nice and secure. There we go. And then that bit just goes over the end. A bit like that, by the looks of it. No, it goes over a bit further. It goes over there a bit like that. Okay. Keep it in a safe place. It will be needed in an upcoming stage. So yes, that's that. That is episode and stage 12. Thank you very much for watching. I'll fold that down. The others are folded down, so no, I'll fold them all up. Thank you very much for watching. I shall see you very shortly. No, before we go, we'll have a look at the magazine, because we always do. Let's have a look through and see what we've got. I won't bother getting the tray out, because it's only flicking through a few pages of here. The production diary. Again, a big decision. Marty gets a new face. They said bye-bye to Eric and hello to Michael. I still like to see the film with that. It'd be quite interesting. What Eric did next, yeah, he didn't play Marty, so he went on to do other things, and then he gone to do directing now. Interesting. Fair enough. Marty makes a skateboard. Yeah, we saw that before. Next issue, interestingly, another wheel. The 3rd wheel. So there's only 1 more to do after this, but yeah. Right. Actually, there's interesting things about the next issue, which I shall show you in the next issue. Apparently, the production diary is looking at the making of Back to the Future. Delorean story. Delorean DMC-12, a car with a remarkable story. We'll find out if we're going to find out what happens there. So, parts from this week. Very nice. I enjoyed doing that. That was good. It's a little bit different, but the same. I vaguely knew what was going on a little bit. I didn't much, really. So thank you very much. I shall see you very shortly. But issue 13. Bye-bye for now.